Welcome to Never Too Late to Create, the late life, step by step, sometimes messy journey of how to create your YouTube channel. My name is Steve, and I want to share my journey to recording YouTube videos and making my first steps into a YouTube lifestyle. Now, I want to preface this by saying I am not teaching this from the finish line. I just wanted to share and start this process in public. This has been a long time coming for me. It took me 7 months to record my first episode. And in that 7 months, I have learned a lot, mostly what not to do. But I want to share that with you because I know I'm not the only one out there who was hesitant and fearful and didn't know what to do. And I'm hoping that by sharing my journey in public, I can help you and we can make this journey together. Now, when I first started this concept, I had no idea that I was going to create a YouTube channel. My real life job is working in the insurance industry. I am also the editor of a political news site focused on Arizona. And my original plan was to create a podcast about Arizona politics. Because I was already writing and editing in that realm, it made a lot of sense. My friends were supportive. My wife was supportive. Everybody seemed like, "Oh, yeah, sounds like a great idea," but honestly, I had no idea what to do, so I began doing research. Now, that research resulted in me consuming a lot of YouTube videos, and I came to realize that the future of podcasting was not in audio, solely in audio, but in video, and if you're gonna do a video podcast or any kind of video content creation, YouTube is the master. So it seemed like it made a lot more sense to do YouTube first because you could always do the audio portion. It also seemed like YouTube has a financial plan already in place so that, if you're successful, you can make some money. So I spent a lot of time doing research on how to make that happen. I did a lot of discovery. I found that by searching out my interests, I went through a lot of videos, a lot of shorts, but I realized that I could actually feed a podcast and clips with a YouTube video. Plus, it had the added benefits of having sponsors and affiliates and providing some form of monetization if I could make it work. So my original question changed from should I do a podcast to how do I do a YouTube channel? Well, that led me down a rabbit hole. What should my channel be about? Should I go ahead and do the Arizona politics, or is there maybe something better? Well, I realized that Arizona politics is kind of a narrow niche. It's only of interest pretty much to Arizonans. And it seemed that by doing that, I was limiting the market. And because I had in the back of my mind the idea that I wanted to replace my regular 9 to 5 job working in insurance with something that was based on my interests. So I just kept asking, was Arizona politics too narrow? Was it too local? Was it too contentious? Well, that was kind of the catalyst and that set me on in motion onto this journey into YouTube. Now, one of the things I kept hearing in the beginning was niche. Niche this and niche that, and you have to niche down and don't you make sure you pick a niche. You don't want to be a generalist. W- Niche, niche, niche. Niche started sounding like it was a commandment, but I really didn't understand what that meant. So I'm going to make it really simple. All niche means is find something that really that you really are passionate about and focus on that. You don't have to answer questions for everybody. All you need to do is do something that you love, and there will be other people that are interested. Well, the first thing that hit me was look at all the money people are making. So I figured, okay, how can I do that? And the first thing I stumbled into was this idea of a faceless YouTube. I should say faceless YouTube video concept found me. I thought, oh, wow, I hate being on camera. I hate the way I look. I feel self-conscious. So a faceless YouTube sounded really, really interesting. No face, AI tools, systems in place, and big money. Boy, that sounded like it was perfect. No camera anxiety. All you have to do is feed the AI beast and it will create something for you. What I didn't realize is that I was walking into a massive YouTube sales funnel. See, they really played to my desires and my interest, but in a way to my weakness. I really wanted to find something that would take me away from my 9 to 5 job. And so they walked me down this funnel. They connected me with a coach, and boy, they were, oh yeah, this is a great opportunity, but we have limited spots, and you really have to be dedicated. It's a serious opportunity. We only take a very limited number of people, and you look like the kind of person that we want to take. They really did a good job of playing up to my vanity and my needs and my desires. Now, you would think at the age of 67, I should have seen it coming. But in truth, I wanted it to be true. And eventually they told me, no problem. The program is $8,000, but if you do this program and you do it right, you could be making tens of thousands of dollars a month afterwards. When they told me 8 grand, I'm like, there is no way in the world that I'm taking a risk giving them $8,000 of my hard earned money to go do some kind of a program for something that I really didn't understand. I knew I wanted it. I knew it sounded too good to be true. And you know what? Turns out it really was, because in a very short period of time thereafter, YouTube began cracking down on these low effort AI slop videos. I'm sure you've seen them. Faceless videos, repetitive information, easy to put together. And that's just the point. People used to pay for information. It's not true anymore. AI ended that. People want to see authenticity on YouTube, and that's where the real magic is right now. So the shortcut was going to be a dead end. And I am so glad that my radar went off and that I walked away from that. Just be aware that the shiny shortcuts, and there are a million of them on YouTube, they can also be a financial trap. That's not to say there aren't a ton of really awesome and excellent programs out there to help teach you how to do YouTube. But I'm not trying to convince somebody to go and spend 8 grand to join my program. I just want to share my passion. And that passion is to create something that's real for myself so that in the rest of my retirement, I don't have to work for somebody else. I just needed to be true to who I am. The problem was I just didn't know what to do. When I finally settled on a concept, I wanted to do something that was meaningful to me. And at the time, I was going through some struggles about faith. And so I decided I was going to do a YouTube channel called My Search for Christ. And it was going to be sharing my journey getting reconnected with God. Well, the problem with it was that the idea of faith, God, and doubt later in life were important. But I was so far removed from the Bible and from and believing that I just didn't know what to say or what to talk about. And after about 10 minutes of explaining why I had drifted away from the Lord, I didn't have anything else to say. So that brought up another point. It's not just what you are passionate about, but it also has to be something that you know. Well, this experiment we're doing here is all about sharing that information and sharing the journey. But this is something that I do understand and I'm learning about, and I'm sharing what it is that I learned. And I'm hoping that it's something that will work for you too. Now, my search for Christ still matters to me, but I am putting it on the back burner because I'm really not ready to create a podcast for that yet. That's why I created Never Too Late to Create. Because if somebody like me, who's 68, can learn how to do YouTube, anybody can. And that's what I'm trying to share. Now, the biggest mistake I made with My Search for Christ was trying to make the polished version before I made the honest version. I spent hours, weeks, even months planning and creating a business plan, making an LLC, writing script versions, putting all the scripts together for 20 episodes. I worked on perfecting every piece of it, and I really wasn't ready to do it. That was the problem. What I cared about at the time was working so hard to make it perfect. And that perfectionism really was a downfall, because perfectionism is just another way to procrastinate. And that brings me up to the point of fear. So all of these business plans, the shooting schedules, worrying about lighting, cables, microphones, software, building the studio you can see behind me here in the den, doing sound tests, recording tests, all of that stuff. November through May, 7 months I spent and didn't create a single episode. And I did everything that was needed to make a successful channel except for one thing: record a video. So I want to let you know that it's not the camera, it's not the microphone, it's not the lights, and it's not the software. It's fear. It's the perfectionism. It's the imposter syndrome. Don't let those things stop you from sharing what you know. Now, for me, I hate being in front of the camera because I hate the way I look on camera. And that was a big driving factor for me. I built a studio, but not the courage to sit in it. And it was all because I didn't want to fail. But the lesson is in the failure, because Lord knows your first few videos are probably not going to be great. I know mine isn't. I'm sharing it all. It doesn't matter. The mistakes are the content. The wrong turns, the overbuying, the planning, the fear, the awkwardness, all of that stuff was part of the learning. But something else stuck with me, and that was that despite all the ums and the uhs and all the little mistakes and mic bumps and all those sorts of things, I have a message and I have something to share. That's what this channel is about. And I hope that you stay with me on this journey. This is not polished, it's not going to be sanitized, and it's not airbrushed. This is the real version of creating. I am creating my channel one step at a time in public so that you can see it, all the mistakes, all the stumbles, all the miscues and the misspeaks and the looking out the window and the dropping my head down to look at notes, all of those things. Everything about this is going to be the real me because I want to be authentic. I want to learn and build and experiment and mess up and adjust and then keep going. And I want to share it with you because for me, perfection is the procrastination in a fancy suit. That's all I did was put it off and put it off and put it off. And I swore yesterday that that will end today. Now I'm going to tell you something honestly. This is hilarious. I already recorded this episode once earlier today, and it was awesome, except for one thing. I forgot to turn the mic on. Oops. I'm staring at it. I'm trying to figure out why I can't hear it. I'm looking, I'm kind of cussing at my screen. Why won't you play? Well, it turns out when I tested the microphone, I hit the mute button by accident and recorded a whole 23-minute episode with no audio. So if I can do it and I can make that kind of mistake and keep going, you can too. Now, this channel is really for older or nervous or overwhelmed and inexperienced creators. It doesn't matter where you came from or what your status in life is. And I especially want to talk to people who are in their older years. I'm 68. I had no idea that I was going to do this, but this is my passion. And now it's something that I know. So my camera shyness, my confusion over tools, the temptation of the shortcuts, doesn't matter. None of that mattered. And I want you to join me in this journey. I'll share what I tried. I'll talk to you about what works, and I will especially show you what failed. I am not an expert on a mountaintop. I'm just the guy climbing the first step. And I'm hoping that you can come and follow that path with me. Now, I'm going to give you a little bit of a homework assignment. I want you to make a list of every question that you have about starting your own YouTube channel. Real questions, not expert questions. For example, are you worried about a camera, a mic? What are thumbnails? How do you do your first video? Do you have fear on camera? What do I do my channel about? Anything like that. If you have a question, share it with me. Either post it in the comments below or you can email them to me on the link that follows. I am going to use your input to create future episodes because I want this to be a meaningful journey, something that means something to me, something that means something to you. So email them to me. So if you want an honest late life journey that hopefully resonates with you, subscribe and follow from episode 1. Click the like button. It really helps me. Today, I finally climbed the first step. I'm going to post it, warts and all, so that everybody can see me in public saying, I'm not afraid, and this is my channel. Now, I am proof that it's never too late to create. So let's learn how to do YouTube together. Have a great day.